Hello everyone, and finally welcome back to my channel. I actually want to talk about why I was absent for so long in this video, and also it is something recovery related, so stay tuned. First of all, thank you so much for everyone who stayed here. I saw that a lot of the subscribers stayed. I know that many people tend to unsubscribe if somebody is not uploading regularly, and I really needed this break, and I'm so thankful for everyone who checked in, for everyone who stayed, for everyone who asked about new videos. So I promise you a lot of new videos are gonna come. As always, let me know your video topics in the comments so that I can make sure to make videos about this. And let me just go a little bit over what happened. And to be honest, I still don't fully know what happened. I got very sick and we're still trying to figure out what it is, if it could come back. The current American health system makes it very hard for me to get the tests and checkups that I would need to confirm what we think it is. But it is most probably something that could be seen as a late consequence of my eating disorder. And I just want to go over it a little bit with you guys and want you to see my perspective as somebody who is recovered, as somebody who works with eating disorders, and how these last couple of weeks changed my perspective a lot. So first of all, as I said before, we're not fully sure what it is, but it seems like it's something with my gallbladder, which, is most probably like a long-term consequence of, 10 years of starvation and under eating. And I've been thinking a lot, because even though I was always convinced that I'm very lucky, and I was very lucky, I didn't have a lot of long-term consequences. I even got my bone density restored way after 25, when everyone tells you your bone density is not going to get restored after 25. And I started recovery during that time, and I was able to restore my bone density. And I was also able to repair a lot of things, or rather my body was able to repair a lot of things, because I just gave my body enough rest, enough energy. I made sure to stick with recovery even when my body was going in extreme overshoot weight. And I think that this is like plays a really big role in as to why my body was able to heal so much. But still, there are some things that I couldn't foresee and that clearly are still impacted and may even come up later in life. And after all the pain that I've been through, and I don't want to dramatize it, but it was really a lot of pain, and it was not a great time for me. It just, I've been thinking back to all the days in recovery, or actually all the days in my eating disorder, where I knew, I most probably will have some long-term damage. And one day when I choose to recover, I will most probably have some issues, but my eating disorder is still more important to me now. And I know that this is a very common thought pattern with eating disorders. I am working with a lot of people who still tend to have those beliefs and who still say, well, I know that one day I will regret this, and that I will most probably have health issues, or maybe I'm having health issues already, but my eating disorder is still more important to me. And this is because of a lot of things that I'm not gonna go too much into detail right now. It's just the way an eating disorder works. It's the way our brain and an eating disorder works. But from somebody who's been through it and who always regretted, like ever since I am fully recovered, I regretted that I didn't start sooner. And now that I'm in a situation where it seems like my body, still struggles with some things that stem from an eating disorder, this is just, my time to tell you it is not worth it. All the pain, all the worries, all the long-term issues are not worth it. And I know how convincing the ED voice is right now, and I know how much it feels like this is still more important and this is still giving you more in the moment. I can promise you that once you're at the point where you're fully recovered, you will see why it was not worth it. And this also goes out to everyone who's in the middle of recovery right now, and who is maybe contemplating going back, and who feels like this is not working for me and I'm not getting any positive outcome of it. If anything, things seem to be harder, or things seem to, get worse for me, because I've also been there, and I was very close to relapsing and going back many times. And the only thing why I didn't do it was because I honestly felt like I couldn't do it anymore, which I made another video about. But I want you guys to know that this is oftentimes the most important part in your recovery journey, because if you continue now, and yes, it might still be very hard, it might still take a long time, but I promise you there will come a point where you are able to heal the relationship with food, with your body, with movement, and you will be so glad that you did it, and you will be so glad that you didn't go back. Another perspective that I wanted to share is that due to all of my issues that I had, I was not really able to eat the things I wanted to eat, and I tried to still make sure to get a lot of liquid calories in. But it's of course not the same as being able to eat what you want to eat. And as somebody who has this history of an eating disorder, it was honestly extremely painful, not just in a physical sense, but also mentally. It like really drained me very hard, not being able to eat the amounts, to eat the foods that I really wanted to eat, because it was nothing eating disorder related. It was just due to my physical symptoms. And this on the one hand showed me how grateful I am that I have chosen recovery, and I want you all to know that you can get to the point too, where you genuinely enjoy eating and where food doesn't have this big focus in your life anymore, where you don't overthink every time you eat, where you don't have to overthink your bodily signals because you're confident in listening to them and you know when you're hungry and when you're full. But again, this can take a long time, but these few weeks really reminded me of that and really reminded me of how grateful I am for that. And however, once I was, starting to feel a little bit better, I went through a few days that were most probably like extreme hunger. And to be fair, I knew that this was gonna come. I already knew while I was sick, on the one hand, well, I have to make sure that as soon as I can eat, I'm gonna eat because my body clearly needs the energy now more than ever. But also because I know that even though I'm fully recovered and I'm very confident in my recovery, I still have a predisposition. I still have to be mindful about, not going with too little food for too long, because it can be another trigger. Even though it might not be a conscious decision, it can still be a trigger. And so once I was able to eat more again, I was eating all the time. I was in the kitchen all the time and just eating and eating and eating, and I don't have any issues with it. If anything, I was just grateful to be able to eat again and to not be in pain and to be able to eat the things that I wanted to eat. But I also want you to know that even for somebody who has been recovered for a long time, or maybe even someone who never had an eating disorder, this can be a very normal and healthy bodily reaction. And in my case, it was just 1 or 2 weeks. So if you think about the amount of times that many of you guys have had an eating disorder, it only makes sense that the body needs way longer to catch up. So I just wanted to share this little update and also come back with this video. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions for me. Again, if there's any other topics that you would like me to cover. I definitely have a lot of topics planned already. And I'm also going to make sure to not talk as much about myself in the next videos. Also, I'm currently working on a digital course, so I know that a lot of people don't have the time or maybe also not the financial means to afford coaching right now, and I still want to offer something for those of you who have maybe just a little bit of money to spend. And one of the things I'm working on is a digital course with weekly emails that will guide you through, the first few months or so of recovery. And I would really love to have your opinion. I would really love to hear if this is something you would sign up for, if you feel like weekly emails could be helpful for you. And also, of course, anything else that you would need within that digital course, to just make sure to design it in a way that's really, really helpful for you all. Thank you so much for listening and for watching again, and I'm very happy to be back, and I will see you in the next one.